Many African Christians align themselves with white supremacist talking points. I've been battling with this topic for the past 2 days. I had to go for a walk to gather my thoughts on how I'm going to make this video because it's one of the darkest realizations that I've had to accept recently. You know, when Black Americans say Africans are coons and we fight, we push back, we say, oh, that's bullshit, da, da, da. And then as a result of these guys unaliving and the feedback I got from the African community, particularly the African Christian community, it highlighted something that I think I haven't really paid attention to, is how deep low racial self-esteem a lot of Africans have. And when I made that video talking about how religion makes people loyal, makes Africans loyal, not to Africa and to Africans, but to loyal to the people that are being represented in those religion. The Nigerian Christian, the African Christian, his or her loyalty is not to Africa. It's to the Middle East. It's to the Arab man who doesn't look like the average African. The loyalty of the African Christian is to the white man, to the European. And that is why you will see a lot of Africans, as soon as something happens to a white Christian person, a white Christian man who has some type of popularity, they have this automatic allegiance to that person. Right? Whether this person was genuinely a Christian or not, it doesn't matter. They will just defend that person. They'll just go for it. And you will notice that a lot of these people, even when things happen within African spaces, in Africa, maybe people got unalived, something bad happened, they never speak about it. You notice that? They never speak about it. They never ever speak about it. Like the same people that you saw who were having a lot of empathy for this guy, they've never one time, they have never mentioned, oh my God, the unaliving of women in Nigeria. They've never spoken about it. They barely speak about what's going on in their country. But as soon as a white man who is Christian, quote unquote, something happens to them, all of a sudden, they have a lot of empathy and they want to have, they're worried about the society that we're living in. And in addition to the talking points, a lot of African Christians align themselves with white supremacist talking points, which is usually geared towards, geared against African Americans, right? I've spoken to 6 African Christian content creators, both in diaspora and in the continent. Every single one of them, they follow Candace Owens. Every single one of them, they didn't want to tell me directly, but they were like, yeah, but the Black community, they had a lot to say. A lot of them had a lot to say about the Black American community, right? These are the African Christians. Some of them haven't even been to America, or when they were in America for a short time. Every single one of them were like, yeah, but his talking points about the fatherlessness in the Black community. I'm like, you see that tells me you don't know anything you're talking about, right? You talk about the fatherlessness in the Black community, right? What if I told you the group with the largest fatherlessness homes in America are white people? It's not Black Americans, they're white Americans. Well, you wouldn't believe that because statistically, it's just not feasible for African Americans who have this, 45 million compared to 160 million. Of course, the 160 million they're going to have more just because they have more numbers. But from a white supremacist talking point, Black people, Black Americans are always the problem. That's why I say you guys don't understand white supremacy thinking. I'll make a deeper video on this, depending on how this video does, because it's very important, right? A lot of them say, oh, but fatherlessness in the Black home. I'm like, that's not true. That's not true. The group with the largest fatherlessness homes are white Americans, not Black Americans. But you guys don't know that because you don't check. So the African Christians, right? Also, one of them were like, but Black Americans commit most of the crimes in America. Again, that's not true. That is not fucking true. Most crimes in America are committed by white men, by the white group. According to the arrest statistics, I think in 2019, I couldn't find the one for 2020 or 2021. I couldn't find those. But in 2019, from what I saw, there was 4 million arrests in America in that year, and 3 million of those were white people. 1 million Black Americans. Now, is it high in the Black American community? Yes. But let's not act like it's only Black America. The majority of the crimes and the violence in America are committed by white people, white men particularly, not Black Americans. But you wouldn't know that when you are looking at things from a white supremacist talking point, which is what a lot of Christians align themselves with. A lot of African Christians are aligned with white supremacist talking points. That is why if you listen to African Christians talk about global politics, they will always align themselves to the white country. Look at the Middle East. You have African Christians who don't know anything about what is going on. They don't know the nitty-gritties, but they will automatically side with a white country in the Middle East. I'm not going to say their name, but you know what I'm talking about. The country is actively doing a G-side in the Middle East, but they side, even in my own family, highly educated people, very educated, but they will side with the country doing G-side because it is written, quote unquote. And if those same countries should come to Africa to want to do nasty things, those African Christians will also side with them. That is the state of the world we are living in. African Christians align themselves with white supremacist talking points. That is the dark truth. That's the truth that I need to come to terms with.